Okay, so this is my visual. Okay, I can anyways, sure. Okay, so okay, let me start with it. So first we will see that how you can create a database, and then we will see that how you will connect using the ADO.NET. I hope my audio is clear to you. And right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will show all the methods through the Visual Studio only. I'm really not aware that how many of you have installed a SQL Server or SSMS, that is even mentioned in the Udemy as well. So I'll just show you that first. I will show you that how you can create a database, and then how you can create a table. So in the Visual Studio, usually left hand side you will find out a tab called Server Explorer. If you don't find it, go into the view and search here. Where is the Server Explorer? Yeah, I have installed Visual Studio 2019. I mean Community Edition only. I hope you guys have all the same. So yeah, so through this Control Alt S would be a shortcut key, and you will get the same thing. If you are unable to find out, the other tab you can use it is the SQL Server Object Explorer. Okay, this you will also find out later on that the left hand side. Okay, if you're not there, then you can put it over here. So usually Windows has their own server, like this you will see that MS SQL local DB. So server, it's lucky that you don't need to create. Windows application has Windows is itself a server. Whenever you guys are working on a SQL with SQL Server, if you are on a MySQL or Oracle, then you have to create a server first. Then after you will have to create a database. So here you guys are lucky that you don't need to create a server. So this is my Windows local server, and you guys will feel the same. So first I'll create a database. Some of the system databases will also be provided to you. 4 databases that you are seeing, these are the system generated databases. We will never ever use these, because if you are manipulating these database, the SQL Server's inner system may have a chances to corrupt, or may not work properly. So learn this thing. You guys never work on a system database. Instead, you will create your own. Like I'm adding a new database. Even if you are on a Server Explorer, you will find out this type of a thing. Servers, desktop, for me, tech 0-3. But I don't think this is easy to work on. Better I will go on a SQL Server Object Explorer. But both the ways you can access. If you are in a Server Explorer, you have to search for SQL databases. Why it's not opening for me? Okay, it's in Azure. Okay, that's the reason it's not connecting for me. Okay, so I'm coming back to the SQL Server Object Explorer. What is this? It's control. Oh, anyways. Okay, so I'm going to create a new database. Default URL, you can change it as well if you wish, but I'm not changing. I'm just creating with so yeah, so by this way database has been created. So for me it's initializing. I hope it will not take much time. Okay. So as I said that database is mainly a collection of tables. Then SQL Server. In SQL Server, we are lucky that we are providing so many features other than tables as well. Like we are provide to create a view as well. We are allowed to create a store procedures as well, and all these things we will learn in this week, or can say in this SQL Server training. So first I'll show you how to create a table through the through by writing a code. Also you can create a table. Otherwise better to use it through UI. But unfortunately, whatever the your hands-on are there, or code challenge that you will receive, you have to go through the coding, how you can create through code. So I'll show you the method of how to do it through UI. Then I will teach you how you can go with the coding as well. Okay. So okay, let me create a table first. Okay, do you guys can see everything right in the screen? Like ID is already created and all this thing. Okay, so yeah, so whenever you go through a UI part, you will always find, okay, let me show the first from the side. Okay, so first thing, you guys need to create a table. So what you guys should do, that you come on this table folder, make a right click, and then add new table. Click on the add new table. So when you click it, the primary structure you will get it. I mean, usually whenever you are working with any database, usually the first column we introduce as a primary key. This is a ideal practice. This is not a rule. I can create as many columns or as many properties without a primary key, or without setting any kind of a key. But this is a primary. This is what can say a practice that every developer, or can say that every IT practitioner would follow. So the first column you would always find as an ID, or something like the table ID something. Suppose I'm creating a student table, that I will write a student ID kind of a thing, or it's just a ID. So this is a industry practice. It's not a compulsory thing. So I will make it as a student ID. Okay, and then I'll create a one more column to name. Okay, again, it's don't go on this. I create N capital and all. These are just I'm just doing as per anything. If you don't want, I can create like a small as well. But usually SQL things, whether you work on a Oracle, whether you are on a SQL Server or MySQL or any database, usually SQL things are works well with the capital letters. So instead of this column name, always try to write down your query or your code in a capital letters, unless the keywords and the column names. So I'm going to create one more column here. I'll select the So there are so many data types are available in the SQL Server. I'm sure that you will explore this whenever you are reading in the Udemy, that so many data types and what are their use. But usually whenever we are looking to store any kind of string data or any kind of a common data, that we guys are usually prefer the n varchar, and just with some kind of a limitation. So I'll put here in the name, I don't believe that any name is longer than the 30 characters. And this is one of the important parameter, I can say, whether you want to allow nulls or not. I mean, once you uncheck this, it will become a mandatory column for this table. You have to fill it no matter what. And default column will work as a, suppose you have a specific data that you want to fill it in all the columns. Suppose if I go with the student age, I'll put here a small integer kind of a thing. And here if here also I will put the I will make it compulsory, but default age I want to print 18. I mean, age can be vary, but the minimum age of the student I want to put as an 80. So what will I write? Here is the 80. So by this way it will be fixed. At least 18 will be printed out in all the columns. Okay, so as of now, so this my table has been created. Now I want to give it a name as well. So you guys have seen that, okay, I have created 3 columns through UI. But if I want to write down as well one more thing, so that I can write here like student city. So I can write here, then after I declare a data type, again I will, and here I will allow as a null. Sorry, someone was asking me. Hello? Hello?
No, actually, someone joins Teams.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your voice.
If someone joins the meet, the team will be.
Can you please write for me, because I'm not getting your voice. It's too low for me. It's very low. Anyways, I'm continuing. In the meantime, you put your query in the chat box. I'll answer. Yeah. So I was telling that the 2 ways of writing a database code. So one is by through UI you design your table or you design your columns and all. Otherwise, through the query or through the coding you can do this. So the 3 columns I had created through UI, but the student city I was writing. So there is always this TSQL kind of query box would be provided to you at the down of your UI. So you guys always find out here, and you guys can write down whatever the column you need to call, or even at the later stage you can change it, or can say you can update your tables as well. So right now what I'll do, that I have written all the column names. Now I want to give a table name as well. So I'm writing here, I'm giving the table name here, create table dbo dot student. Again, you guys should not change this DBO. Every project has a different kind of a alias. Our default alias table alias name is a DBO. So I always recommend you guys to not to change. And I would suggest one more thing, to write one keyword here whenever you are creating a primary key with integer or any kind of a numeric part, is to write down here identity. So identity column is like that. Every student need to be provided a unique ID. So though it's created as a primary key, but identity keyword will make your primary key as a numeric, and it will start automatically from 1 to the n number of up to the n number, and you don't need to create you don't need to write down a number, or can say the ID, to manually to the student ID. This identity is just for integer or big integer or small integer kind of a thing, and it will automatically fill your columns. Okay, you can set it in the properties as well, the same thing. If you don't want to write it, go right click on the property. Okay, go into the identity specification, make it true. Here earlier it was false. Okay, if I make it false, see in the TS, in the design part, identity return was gone. If I make it true, again identity will be written. Okay, okay, this set is always to 1. If you want to jump through more than a number of 2, 3, then you can set it as a 2 or 3. I mean seed or increment anything. I'll just use the default things. So this is the way I written the code for table. Now if I want to create it in the database, I'll just simply click on the update database. Okay, so I'm giving you a short hack to you guys for your hands-on. If any of you guy will get a struggle to write down a code or anything, you guys can simply create a generate script first. Okay, this is actually a script. Other than these things were the normal SQL query structure, and you guys are having a first hands-on like create table or something. So this is your code. You can simply copy and paste into your portal where you have to perform the hands-on. So you just guys simply copy and then paste over there. So you guys can use a generate script and then copy. Otherwise, for here only, for this practice, I'll just create a database here only. So I'll use the option update database. So whenever we are working with the in this hands-on, or sorry, in this lectures or in this lecture series, we always use update database. I'll show you that generate script will help you to perform your hands-on just to copy paste. Otherwise, always use the update database. Okay, so I have received a message, update complete successfully, and now I will refresh my database. Tables. Now you will find out that I got my student table created. Okay, See the 4 columns that we created. So right now this table might be an empty one. So I want to see a data of it. So how you can check that whether your table has a data or not? So you simply right click on the table, then go to the view data, and this kind of a structure that you will see. Right now the table is empty. Suppose if you want to fill up the data, so there are also 2 ways here that you can do it. One, you can directly fill it, like I want to fill up the name. My age is 30. My city is Bangalore. Okay. So I told you that student ID we had created as an identity. So I don't need to fill it a 1 or 2 here. It will automatically create. Suppose if I did, okay, let me show you the one more thing. Let's see. Okay, I am creating the student age empty. I'm just giving you a city as of Pune now. I'm sorry if you are not from Pune. So your default age would be created as a 18. Why? Because the age default value has been set to 18. So this is the way that you can fill up the data. Another way is to fill up the data is to that you guys can right click on the anywhere, even here as well, or here, anywhere. Better you guys practice here, that click on the database, write a new query, and now the time is for an insert query. Insert into database name dbo.student. Name. I don't want to fill up the age. I'll just do the 2 things. Now values. Sorry, name only and city. Sorry. Okay, so first name I have is Amrita D. Okay, let me give you the city Hyderabad. Okay, I have written this query. Now I'll click on the execute. I hope there is no error. What is the problem? Okay, no double quotes. I hope single quotes only. Yep. So my query is successful here. Now I will see the data. I'll just simply go on to the view data. See, the third row has also been entered here. I can do refresh as well. I mean, this time I click on a view code or view data, otherwise I'll just simply refresh here. Is there any question till here? Any kind of a doubt, any question, or any feedback from your end?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir, can you please just in brief again tell like how to connect the SQL Server? Due to technical issues, I was able to join late.
Okay. However, we have not started the connecting the server yet. It is just that we have seen the creating the database. So, and and even if you have joined the late, no need to worry. The video will be I'm recording the session, and I will provide you the video as well.
Yeah.
So still, I can show you in the in a very quick manner that how you can create a database, and then after this one, I will show you that how you can connect to the server or how you can connect to the database. Till now, it was just how to create a database. Okay, so let me go through a quick recap. Okay, so after opening a Visual Studio, your connection, go to the SQL Server Object Explorer. You will find it in a view. Then go to the SQL Server Object Explorer. Okay, find out your SQL Server, and inside that you have a default Windows server with some options of database. Open the database. Don't open a system databases. Here you create a new database. Right click on the databases, and then click on new database. Set a name to your database, any name of your like, it's fine. Then click on OK. Once it is done, I had created a Cognizant underscore students as a database. Under that, you will get a structure like this: like tables, views, programmability, storage, security, so many options. Inside that, we had just seen how to create a table, because the database is mainly a collection of data through the tables only. So how to create a table? Open the tables section. Don't do anything on the system provided folders. Don't change or don't play with anything. Just simply create your table. Right click on the tables, add new table. Or another way to create a table is to right click on the database name and go on a new query, and through the coding as well you can create a table like this. Like the syntax is like create table, the name, and then column names. So this is the structure that you can follow as well. But these things you can do whenever you are writing hands-on. Otherwise, just whenever you are on a project, or whenever you are doing your practice in the Visual Studio, just simply right click on the table to create a new table. This kind of a structure you will get. Okay, at the down you will get an option to write your code as well. Otherwise, so here you can write as well. Okay, if you want to write it through writing as well, you can write it. Otherwise, you just simply write here and just play with the buttons and the mouse, and also you can create a database. Unfortunately, you guys need to come here into the coding part to give a table name. If you don't give a table name here and just simply click on update, then the table name would be created as a table. Now I will show you that as well. It is taking so much time. I don't know, something is wrong with this my Visual Studio. Otherwise, table creation doesn't take so much time. Anyways, so I had shown you as well. I'll see what was the problem here. So anyways, so yeah. So till now we have seen that how you can create a table and how you can create a database. Now we will see how we can connect to the table. So again, I'm asking, is there any doubt in this process till here?
No.
Okay. So I'm taking this as a no doubt from anyone. Okay. If anyone has a doubt, I'm recording, and you will get a what can say recording.
Foreign key is not be an identity, right?
Sorry. Foreign key need not to be an identity. It can be, but whenever you create a foreign key, one column should be a primary key. One column. Suppose your parent key should be a primary key, and your child key should be a foreign one. So this is a rule of a foreign key. This we will see the later part. First, I'll just show you that how you can connect to the database through ADO.NET. Foreign key and all these things is a little, I cannot say little later stage, but yeah, small. I mean, maybe in the next session we will see about the foreign key and all. Okay. But yeah, it can be identity as well. There is no rules that it cannot be identity or it cannot be like that. It can. Okay. So we will connect the database through ADO.NET. So first that you need to introduce the ADO.NET first, that using system.data.sql client. As we are going to work with the SQL server, so that we will use this SQL client. If we have a MySQL, then it would be a MySQL client. If it would be Oracle, then it would be Oracle client. So whichever database we are going to use, we will introduce that client server here. Yeah. So now we have introduced this SQL client. Now we are providing some of the default syntax, tools by ADO.NET to use it. First we will introduce SQL connection. First we will take a variable of SQL connection. Then also I would like to introduce, I don't want to use like this way. I'll just simply connect in a different manner. Better do I create a function. Okay, so let me explain something here. Every server is stored in some of the URL, whether you are on a web server or you are on a local server or wherever you are. Suppose tomorrow you will connect to the database which is stored in a US. So there you will connect through IP address. here we have a local system, so we will connect through our system's URL or our system's address. So instead of URL, I should write here address. Okay, so every system or every database has some address, and that you need to find out that where it is located and how do we connect it. So every database, so for in our case it is this is a server that what we are going to connect. So what we will do, we will find out an address of this. Okay, so for me this is a connection string that what I will going to use it. Data source, this you need to copy paste only, you don't need to remember or need to understand much in it, you just simply copy paste. Okay, let me show you one more time how you get it. Right click on the server, not on the database, not anywhere else. Right click on the server, go to the properties, and then very first property you will find out of a connection string. Your database is located on this location, but the connection string is a string that you will use to connect through your data. If this thing is missing, no matter whatever you have done, you will not able to connect to your database. So this connection string is so important. Okay, so just simply paste it here. It was already there. Okay, no, okay, and better to put a @ sign here, so that such kind of a error, such kind of slash and all those things are not allowed in the C# structure to write down. So just put the @ sign here so that it won't take any error. Okay, so by this way you can write it on the you can write down your connection string. Now let me just show you how you can establish a connection. I have created this function with the data type SQL connection, and I'm just writing a code how you can create a connection. Now I'm writing. Okay, let me just go in a simple way. I don't want to go on a fancy way. Is equal to new connection, new SQL connection. Okay, this function has three kind of function availability. Suppose here you should write your address, what address you want to connect or which database you want to connect. Okay, I can say which server you are actually going to connect. So this is the one thing that you should write. Okay. Suppose if you want to connect to this database as well, so that what you can do, even you can right click on the database, find out a property, and here as well you can get a connection string. So you can see that here the initial catalog is need to be set. Right now you will connect to the master table. The system's master table. But we have created a table cognizant_students. So okay, so what would I do? I'll just again re-click on the properties, and I will select the connection string of our database one. I'm sorry, last time I taught you I cannot say it was a wrong thing, but I missed out this part. If you click on a if you get a connection string of your server, then it will connect to the master database or the first database it created into by the system. But on the manual created databases, you need to get a connection string of that database only. So I'm copying the my tables, or can say my database's connection string. Now here through the initial catalog you can find out now I'm connected to the cognizant underscore students. Rest of the things are actually the same. Even if I didn't copy paste from the properties window, I would simply just change here, then it would be a same thing for me, because my all the database are installed in the same server. Otherwise it would give me a problem. So okay, so now through this line I have established a connection, and now I'm opening this connection dot open and return. Okay, so again guys, remember this line is so mandatory. Actually it should not return here, it should be like this way. Okay, let me do it directly. I don't want to create a function. Okay, static functions need to have a static variables, and anyways, okay. So this line is establishing a connection between my code and my server. And now I'm just simply opening a connection. I would love to see that what is the actual status now. Okay, by the way guys, these things are so important. If you are opening a connection, then closing the connection is must. Otherwise the next time you will guys connect to a database, you will get an error. So always keep this practice that whenever you are opening a connection, it is must to close it. So anyways, now I'm running this. See, my connection is open, now is established as well. Okay, I can write this as well. Let me see what happened. I mean, are you guys not able to see it? Anything?
If your screen went blank, so like it's white.
Yeah, I'm actually. Okay, let me try one more time. Okay, I hope now you guys are seeing again.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm running one more time. Okay, so earlier my connection was open, now that means it was established, and then after I make it close, then now the connection closed. So these are the simple ways of connecting to your database, connecting your server. So, is there any questions here? Are there any questions?
Like previously in ADO.NET, we used to use the configuration manager to connect with like SQL string. So here it's not necessary, right?
I mean, through the configuration manager as well, you can do that. I mean, things are the same. I mean, connection string, either you define in the app.config or you write here. This is just to show you that how you can establish a connection. Otherwise, both the things are same. I can write in the app.config as well. You know, I can introduce and everything I can write here as well, and then through the configuration manager I can do that. But this part is the same. It's just a matter of a connection string where you are writing it. If you want to write it in the app config, it is fine, and then get it through configuration manager.